Hi, I am Alicia Kelso. I am the executive editor for Nation's Restaurant News. I'm here, I think it's day 4 at the National Restaurant Association, but I probably shouldn't be quoted on that. I'm with Kim Decarolis. She's the Senior Vice President of Strategic Growth at Craveworthy Brands.
I am.
Thank you for joining me
Thank you for having me.
in this chaos.
It is, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yes.
I don't have any gas in my tank anymore. How long have you been here?
So I got in Wednesday.
Okay, so you've been here even longer than me.
Yes. So there's a
I complain about my gas.
marketing executive group that's prior to this, and so I'm a huge fan of the conference. Everyone should go. There's panelists that we were all part of. So
Okay, stuff. Great, yeah. Now, are you tired and do your feet hurt?
no,
All right,
it's
well,
all a mindset. You have to lie.
once we get to this podcast, I'm going to pull some tips from you because I'm really intrigued on how you're doing that. You've been with Craveworthy now for about, what, a year?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, tell me what intrigued you to that brand. Certainly they're busy. Certainly they're keeping you busy.
We are busy. That is without a doubt a thing. To be honest, coming into Craveworthy, we are collecting brands that basically, let's call them, got maybe forgotten. And so we put them into our portfolio. We give them the career-worthy cycle. We update tech. We talk about technology. We bring in some of our other concepts that we've created, which are called virtual kitchens, just as another way of revenue for the 4 walls of the store.
Mm-hmm.
And we really bring a resurgence into these concepts, and it's been super fun and attractive.
You've certainly kept us busy with all your new news.
Yes, exactly.
I guess I'm curious then, what you look for when you're on these like acquisition sprees. What do the brands have to have in order for them to fit into what Craveworthy's looking for?
So I love saying that the first thing is like we like for every type of cuisine, so that when we are also then bringing in franchisees, they can basically stay within the Craveworthy family. They know how we operate, we know how we train. And then they're interested in opening another location. Not a problem. Would you like tacos? Would you like burgers? Would you like hot chicken? And we have that for them so they can stay within our 4 walls. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on. Another thing we look for is how can we help, right? So there's obviously going to be a level of love. There's going to be a level of brand recognition within these concepts. And then how can we give them a resurgence? And that's really where I find things to be attractive.
You keep saying resurgence.
Yes.
I'm curious about that. What does that mean when you're looking for a brand? You identify them and, okay, you need a resurgence.
Yeah.
Explain what that is.
So the greatest story that I can tell about that is Genghis Grill. So make your own stir fry, a concept that everyone has been to, is loved. You can make, your proteins and your produce, and you can make a bowl. Now you can make a burrito. We reconcept that to be a very similar Chipotle Panda Express had a baby, where our staff is portioning proteins. Our staff is making the produce. So post-COVID, everyone is happy about that. It's losing the buffet style. And the new concept is right outside of Columbus, Ohio. It's Ohio State University campus. It's amazing. It's crushing it. And
I'm a Michigan fan.
from Michigan. I didn't call them.
Well, you have to say Ohio State on the podcast.
Well, I didn't put the in front of it because they didn't deserve that.
No, right? Yeah,
that was anyway going on. So I didn't put the in front of it. It's just physically where we're located. But so it's been great. So we've taken that concept that everyone knows and loves, and there's not a ton of competition when it comes to create your own stir fry, fast casual style.
Right.
And so we've recreated that to be much more friendly for people to come in, create what they want, but then also franchisees to have a very low barrier of competition around them. And so it's been exciting.
It has been exciting. It's been certainly exciting to follow and cover.
Yeah.
As you acquire these brands, then tell me about the franchisee proposition. Are you getting more interests from your existing franchisees to look into these dirty dough and, to add that? How does that work?
So, I think there's been a huge shift with all franchises, and not specifically to Craveworthy, but, where you have 4 walls that before you had 3,200 square feet and everyone was sitting there and you had all this time. And now there's a lot of space that's underused. And so with having these brands that come on board, we're able to put a dirty dough into someone that perhaps has a pizza concept. And they split a wall and they are utilizing the real estate they have. And now there's 2 revenue channels and 2 concepts. Really using, third-party delivery as well, and really focusing on those things.
So that acts as a virtual brand as well.
It does. It can. Okay. It also can be utilized in the real estate. You just basically put up a half wall, share a kitchen, and you more reasons for people to come.
Very good. You do have your own virtual brands, like
We do, yes.
like you said. So, we've heard everything from this is going to be a $1 trillion category by 2030 to it's dying, it's dead. Where does Craveworthy fit into this conversation? Because we have seen a significant amount of ebb and flow in the virtual kitchen space.
So the one thing I will say that I would like to pride ourselves on is our virtual kitchens will only live within Craveworthy. So if you are a franchisee of us, that's how you get our virtual kitchens, or corporate. They will never live with any other concept. So we have the ability to control a great guest experience. We have the ability to control the product that's coming in, the quality of it, and we know the staff that's making it. So for us, I think that's something that is a little bit different than, let's call it, the ghost kitchens to the virtual kitchens.
Yeah.
And then we also have really, really great rates with our third-party deliveries. So it's not such a hard hit for the commission rates when what people are ordering. And it's been great. I'm really proud of ourselves.
Yeah, good. As we talk about this acquisition spree, I think there's been 3 in the past, 2 months alone.
Yep.
Okay. I'm so thank you for making time for me.
No, yes.
I'm busy. How do you integrate then into the existing system? Because I imagine that would come with its own unique challenges.
Of course, and we're not naive to that. Every brand that we acquire comes with its own tech stack, their own contracts, and their own history, right? And we would be naive to pretend that it's all, butterflies as roses. But at the same time, these concepts are looking for what we can offer. They're looking for support. They're looking for guidance. Our training team is absolutely amazing. Our marketing team in digital is I think, breath of fresh air for them. Operationally, we're super strong at knowing, and I would like to really pride my team. My team is absolutely phenomenal. We will roll our sleeves up, and titles, we were talking about this previously, out the door. What do you need done, and how can we help? And let's get this going. We had a great event last night at Hayden Hall here in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the Hayden Hall event is a food court, but it only features Craveworthy concepts, including some of our virtual concepts. And so our team absolutely crushed yesterday. We had over 440 people there, not a beat missed. The place looked great, and we all had a toast last night celebrating the races.
Very, very
so, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very proud of my team. I keep walking around today, were you there?
Yeah.
Were you there? We did so good, didn't we? Their team did so good. So
when you bring these brands on board, then, I can't remember the name, so forgive me. The one that I just covered, I think it was a small, maybe 1 or 2 unit Korean barbecue.
Secret.
Yeah.
Secret Indian barbecue.
That's Indian
Absolutely.
barbecue. How much is growth a priority for these concepts? Do you have targets when you bring them on?
Of course.
Unit count growth, or are you focused on economic growth, or both? Or tell me what your, strategy is then once you bring them on board.
So I think once we bring them on board, of course we go there, we try the food, and the food has to be craveable, right? Craveworthy brands. The food has to be craveable. People have to want to go and eat it. But I think once they come on board, it's really cleaning up the house, making sure that the foundations are in place for successful growth, because you can't build on something that's broken. So going in, ensuring that everything is, from tech to operations to financials, getting those in line to then do development growth.
Sure.
And so that's basically every time we bring them in, we put them into the Craveworthy circle, we get them going, build those foundations for development growth.
And I imagine every concept is different in terms of the timeline then.
Of course.
Okay.
We have to basically go in and, take a look under the hood, make sure that everything is, appropriate, we're building frankly, understand what we're acquiring, and then we do build growth from there.
Okay. Once you get that to that place of comfort,
Yeah.
Where, unit count growth is now more of a feasibility.
Sure.
I guess it's hard for me to articulate this question because it's a really challenging environment right now.
It is.
Any kind of growth. I think I told you I was tweeting last night at 12:30 in the morning about Red Lobster's bankruptcy. These stories, they're manifesting at an accelerated pace. So how do you sort of overcome every single challenge that, and including the new labor equation that is all I'm hearing of us for, by the way. So give me your strategy to overcome the challenges that it might hinder growth.
There's a ton of challenges that come by that. One is legacy, right? So where was the brand previously? What is the perceived opinion of them in the market? and what is the perceived opinion of what they can be. And then there's also a balance of, and I think sometimes people get themselves stuck where they oversell and then they under open. And so for me, and I think that's something that we do within Craveworthy, is we don't want to focus on just stores sold. We want stores open. So making sure that we're being very, very specific, and we're being very deliberate on what we're opening and how we're opening them, and mindful, right? So we have a lot of concepts that are extremely regionalized. So how we grow them intentionally is something that is really really top of mind for us.
Yeah.
We're not just trying to say, please come open a store. Where do you want to be? We'll figure it out. We really want to be intentional about it so that we do it right.
Okay. When you go into a concept and look under the hood, like you say, to try and, elevate those four-wall economics, where are you seeing some of the biggest, I guess, hurdles that need to happen or move out of the way in order to make that happen?
So I think our team has done a really good job of making sure whatever contracts are required, how we put them back into the Craveworthy portfolio, because while they're not necessarily revenue generators if you switch to point of sale, or revenue generators if you switch to a different loyalty program, it does have cost savings that affect the bottom line. So putting them in there, and we have the buying power now of 200.
I've heard scale matters.
Yes, and so we have that buying power where previously perhaps there was only 22 stores, or they didn't know that you can negotiate with different partners or different programs.
Yeah.
And getting them in where you are just doing cost savings.
Yeah.
Is been a huge, that helps. Contract negotiation, Dirty Dough is a great example. Making sure that when our franchisees get cookies, it doesn't cost them a ton of money. Prime score in whatever way they're getting them delivered. So those things are really quick changes that we're able to do.
Yeah.
And then obviously once we get them into our system with our phenomenal operations team and our marketing team, the system just starts flowing, which is, to be honest, it's phenomenal to be front row of.
Sure. Yeah, I imagine.
Yes.
It seems like it would be really energizing to make those improvements. We talk about California.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
It's better than talking about another state. We can agree.
Touche on that completely. My husband would be so proud right now.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm extracting from the show, which is of no surprise to me or anyone, is the new labor equation. And I'm getting a sense from a lot of people, more than I think at RLC, that this $20 minimum wage is going to translate elsewhere and soon.
I agree.
And the genie comes out of the bottle, the genie doesn't go back in the bottle.
Yep.
So how does Craveworthy thought about that new equation, as, margins are, it just seems like a major challenge that has a lot of people freaked out over.
You're not wrong. I will answer this from my opinion for what I've seen at Meg, because at Craveworthy, we don't have a lot of restaurants right in California. We have Tsum Tsum, but that's it.
Yeah.
So what I've seen, and this was at Meg, the marketing executive group prior to this, gentleman Jamie who works at White Castle, everyone is switching to automation. They're using Flippy.
Right.
They're using voice AI to take orders. So the in-house staff is just basically prepping sliders. They're, using a lot of different services. These are just things that I've seen at the restaurant space. So Let's Chat is doing voice translation, is doing language translation, but it's simply on the individual's device.
Yeah.
And it's with no lift from the marketing team. And then like Loop AI is doing, revenue retention. So if there's any disputes with third party, they have the ability to then just automatically do your dispute. We are using them, but we've seen a huge lift in revenue from them. And we have no manpower behind it.
Right.
And so I think the direction of where this is going to go is just trying to automate what we can, but we're still in the hospitality space. There is a fine line between what you can automate, but with still creating that experience why people come to you for a stir-fry roll versus going somewhere else. So I think that's going to be interesting in the next probably 18 months to see what happens.
Yeah, and it could probably be a separate conversation with us, but because some of the things I've heard is I think from somebody yesterday, I think we're automating the wrong things.
Right.
I'm in the industry because I like people. I'm in the industry because I like to cook food.
Yes.
We should be automating the stuff that's a pain in the ass, not the food or hospitality stuff.
No, I agree.
And you have a tech background.
I do.
So how do you think about, that reconciliation?
So one thing I think is important is to not always be, you don't have to be the trailblazer. It's okay to learn from what people have done in the past, or it's okay to learn from perhaps they tried this and this is what went wrong and now we can execute it at this level. To your exact point, this is the hospitality space. So if a guest has a bad experience, that's the number one priority, is to fix that experience.
Yeah.
So ensuring that things happen flawlessly, seamlessly, and for all guests, which is the magic bullet. So if I knew that exact answer, I don't think we would be speaking here.
Right.
We would be, but I think that's a great goal for us to work towards.
Yeah.
And also, to make sure that it goes to the masses.
Yeah.
Text ordering. My parents, for example, come to the NRA show every year with me. They're not in restaurants. They just love to walk around and find it fascinating.
Have behind a kid at 10 in the morning.
Exactly. And, but the thing about it is making sure that it's flawless. My dad was trying to do a text order and he's like, this is just ridiculous. I don't like to do this. He's like, just pick up the phone and let's order this. So how do we get to the masses and how do we do it correctly, to your point?
Yeah.
So that we don't lose anyone along the way.
As someone of a certain age, I appreciate that. I get mad when I have to find a QR code.
Right. I like to touch a menu. It's like, it's a thing.
Yeah. Were you somebody writing on my print?
Right.
All right. 2 final questions, Sam. You're here for a reason. What are you, especially the backdrop of the conversation that we just had,
Yes.
what are your priorities as you peruse this for?
So I think it's first and foremost, coming from the vendor side and coming from the brand side, I think that it is important to make sure that you have relationships with your vendors, because then they are an extension of your team and they're not a vendor. So you can ask them for things. Hey, we've come across this in the field. Can you help me fix this problem? If you're just transactional, and that's, I think, in any way in life, if you are just transactional and you can't have collaborative conversations, you can't say, we're struggling with this, how do we help? And then asking them and collaborating with your team. This should not be a competition of chicken wars. This should be, hey, we really love this vendor. You should go see them.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that here I think are super meaningful. My whole team is here. They're eating and drinking all of the things, which is phenomenal. You're supposed to do. But at the same time, my obligation is to making sure that I'm making those relationships and making sure that I'm saying hello to the people that help support us to have that great customer experience.
Are you shopping for new vendors or?
Not necessarily. I'm always open to see what tech is here, and I think that's my tech background more than anything. But I think it's important to see who's out here, see what they're doing, and then also see what changes have been made, because there's a lot of logos that have been in the sky here for many, many years, but they're not the same.
Right.
So understanding what changes they've made and why they've made those changes, I think is super helpful for the space.
Okay. Final question. I said 2 questions ago that I had 2 questions and I lied. I had 3.
It's okay. It's the first fight.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll get over it.
We were talking about, you've been keeping us busy with your 3 acquisitions in the past quarter-ish. What's the end game here? What's next? What are we going to do here?
So I think it's important for us to really build, and I'm calling it this, a platform company that services these brands that can quickly turn them over to grow them, grow franchisees, but then also be big logos in the sky that everyone wants to go and eat at. I think that's super important. Keep our employees happy, keep our guests even happier.
So do you have a resource limit on?
No.
Okay.
We're good. Let's go.
That's on the record.
That's right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg.
Ask forgiveness later.
Absolutely. That's what I live my life by. We will talk about that later.
It'll be fun, and we've certainly enjoyed covering everything coming out. It's been fascinating to watch, and wishing you the best of luck. So,
thank you. I appreciate you having me. It's been wonderful.
Thanks so much.